today's meeting, is it online or is it going to happen in person? So in person, we're going on Thursday. At least Ed and I don't know if anybody else is as Nick is coming too. Great.
Yeah.
Ah, that's good.
That's good. I'm really happy. So we meet then.
Who else is joining?
I'm not sure this Thursday if I can join, but if I can join, where do I meet? Where do I meet? Around 6 coffee. Where do you know the place so I can get in touch?
This place, Jenseits im Viadukt. This is a link actually, and I'm going to send to you guys the link to the place. And if you come a little later, no worries at all. Just shoot me a message, call me, and I'll share our location, and you can meet us.
Okay, so if I send you a message on Instagram or so, it's fine.
I would say shoot me a message on WhatsApp.
On WhatsApp, okay.
Do
I have your WhatsApp or no?
It's my contact, but I can send to you guys a link with all my contacts here in the chat.
Perfect.
And then it's probably the easiest way. And the idea is not too many people. We just meet there. If anybody wants to come at 6:30 to have coffee or whatever brew you might want. And then we just start walking around 7 and have like 1 hour and a half or whatever we want, roaming around there. So
I will be there at 7, not before, but I'm happy to join.
Oh, perfect.
I might join, but might have to go around 8:15 just for 1 hour or so. But that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, important is that we have a chance to go a little bit out, have some fun, and take the dust off the camera.
Perfect. Yeah.
I'm sending on the chat. That's a small link. You can have all my contacts there, and it's easy to save. If you open it with your phone, it already gives you the option to save the contacts with everything there: phone, email, social media, and the works.
Okay.
So I'll send to everybody the coordinates to meet there on Jenseits im Viadukt. And then we just go around 7 and roam around a little bit. And from this thing, I think I have already spoke to all of you. I'm always looking for some new things that I can learn and see. And I found some things this week. This one is, I like a lot this guy. He's a very techy photographer. He knows his stuff, and he's photographing since, I don't know, Moses was there, or the Ark of Noah was still here. And he knows a lot about medium format, large format cameras. And except from the fact that he doesn't breathe between his phrases, he's an amazing guy. He shares a lot of content, and he just shared a video with some of the news about CaptureOne. So if you guys want to go there and see something else about CaptureOne, not as good as Daniel, which is, I mean, he's not here, but then maybe he listens to it afterwards. Not as good as he shared with us, but this one is a very brief video with some of the news and new things on CaptureOne. And especially nice is this ability to see the before and after in multiple images at the same time. And it works really blazing fast. So if you guys want, the link is going to be on the blog and on this file that I'm going to share. And you guys can just go there and check his channel. He has a lot of content, and it's really a good teacher. This crazy guy, I mean, I just love this guy. He has so many tutorials, and he teaches a lot of things, mostly about Photoshop. And I didn't watch this one because I already know how to use the blend modes in Photoshop. But if any of you is willing to go there and understand in the most techy way possible, he explains exactly what does each of these blend modes do and when should you use it. So it's a really nice thing to see. It's a long video because there are 27 or 28 blend modes. I don't remember now, but he explains each and every one of them. So it's a really nice masterclass on blend modes.
The guy is really good. I mean, I've seen some of his videos, and he's like, for someone who wants to learn Photoshop, I think he's the go-to guy, let's say.
Yeah, I
really...
totally agree. He's really amazing. And it's really, he explains it really well. And he knows a lot about Photoshop and the techie things and the bits and bytes of it. So I really recommend it. And this one specifically, if you want to venture into the blend modes, and they are amazing, they're really powerful. I mean, this is the best I've seen, the best explanation I've seen. And the next one is from him also. And this is for the ones among us who like to work a little bit more on the composites. What this guy did is, with some of the latest things in Photoshop from the latest version, the warping that you can do with images or whatever object you put on a photo, he applied this sort of rug onto the stairs. So this is something, if you want a project to occupy like 2 months, this is something really nice, because he bends each and every step. He bends the image and applies it as if it were exactly a mat placed on top of the stairs. And you can do that with anything on any surface with this warping that you can do since the last version of Photoshop. That's also a nice one, really geeky and techy and very specific, but it's a nice project if you guys want to spend some hours there. And from CreativeLive this week, if you guys want to get some free lessons, what is nice, if anybody wants to venture with off-camera flash, which is the only way to use a flash in my opinion, there's one coming, and you can watch it for free as long as it is still live, and it stays there, I don't know, for 2 days or 3 days or something like that. And the camera is on top of it, I can see. And there's another one that is funny. If you guys ever want to play with that, so we can play with it in the studio. It's green screen photography. There are so many crazy things we can do, and it's really challenging to have it properly done. So there's one coming in CreativeLive, and if you guys want to have something like that, I mean, those are the best. And the other one, unfortunately, Elena cannot join us since she started working again, but that one on top right is for her, creative portraiture. This guy makes a lot of composites and crazy things with portraits, and that's something I'm quite sure she would love. This one is just so I have here in this video what we've been chatting about, this techie stuff and things about photography. So we had Daniel presenting us with the latest things on CaptureOne. Then we had our very own Master Ed here talking to us about his project with automatically tagging images. And if any of you guys didn't see that, this slide here is just to have the links where you can go back and see what we are talking about. We had Jan presenting us the luminosity mask. Then we spoke about the color mask. We in the past had something to post to Instagram using your desktop or your notebook. And I have all these links of the free online knowledge that we always discuss. I post them on this last link, sorry, that I call the free online resources. So if you guys ever want to go back and try to find something that we discussed, this should be the reference for that. And for today, what I told you guys that I would bring to the group, sorry about that. What I told you guys that I would bring is that some time ago, it was probably around November or December, I was shooting a corporate event, and at some point my face touched the dial on the back of the camera and I didn't notice. So suddenly I was taking some pictures with a very slow shutter speed. And I just noticed it like, I don't know, 20 minutes afterwards. And I had a lot of photos with camera shake. And some of them I just couldn't do again because I was shooting some clients of this boutique, and they wouldn't go back there and do the same thing or pose in front of the Christmas tree. And so I had quite an issue, and I had to research a little bit. What can I do? And that's when I found this guys, this Topaz Labs. They have quite different applications, and this first slide shows only the ones I don't really like so much, but they have one that really saved my bacon on that during that event. Daniel is just joining us. Hey there, Master Daniel.
Hey.
So we have to stop saying bad things about him because now he joined, guys. Please.
Okay, we'll try our best.
Hey, thanks for joining, mate. Everything
Sure.
good with you?
Absolutely. Just finished dinner.
Hey, what was it? You didn't call us again, man. Come on.
Servola and pasta.
Yeah, I mean, poor Stephanie. She didn't even join this time because she was afraid we would just jump there to try to grab her a pie. Yeah. But we just started speaking about this Topaz Labs. I don't know if you know them, Daniel, and they do a lot of different applications. And at some point, I went to this because I had some images with camera shake, and it's on the second screen. This one that I use. This one's just so you guys know what they offer, because I am quite sure for some people this could be really useful. And the thing behind what they do is that they apply machine learning and artificial intelligence in most of the things that their software does. And so for an example, the second one there is Gigapixel. What it does, you can have a JPEG or any kind of file or image file, and with machine learning and artificial intelligence, it enlarges this image. And the results, at least in the examples they allow you to see, are really impressive. This one is not really what I need. It doesn't do anything for me, but you can try it for I think 30 days. So if anybody wants something like that, it is a nice one. JPEG to RAW, I just don't have anything to do with that because I haven't shot anything in JPEG since I don't even remember. But something that might be interesting for some of us is this Topaz Studio 2. And if you guys want, this one I actually bought it because it was on a 50% discount when I bought the other one that I'm going to show you guys. So I actually bought this, and if you guys want, I can show it to you guys either today or some next time. And this one, if you can imagine Instagram filters on steroids, it's sort of like that. You have the basic editing from Lightroom or CaptureOne or whatever, so you can do some lighting adjustments. You can do clarity, exposure, black level, white level, and so on and so forth. But you can also add what they call looks. And with this looks, you can go as crazy as you want. You can go like a painterly thing. You can go like a comic, or you can just increase the shadows. They have some presets like blue shadows and warm midtones, and so you have a lot of different presets and looks, but I mean like 100 and something that you can experiment with. But it's not exactly my thing. If you guys want, I can show you guys because I bought it. But what I actually wanted to show you guys is this next one. These guys are the applications that I was really impressed. And unfortunately, I don't own the bottom right one, which is the enhancements for video. But again, the samples they make available are really impressive. The quality jump that you get there is really, really good. Not only in resolution, but also in the difference between highlights and shadows. It makes a really amazing job. But the ones that I'm was willing to show you guys are this Sharpen AI is the one that you can just apply overall sharpness on some pictures, or it can reduce camera shake or out of focus images. So imagine you missed the focus point, and instead of focusing on the person in the foreground, you focus a little bit on the back, and then the person is out of focus. It can recover a lot from this image, and also from camera shake. So if I can go for that, just a second. And I will share with you guys the screen with this one. So it is probably going to jump for you guys now. And this thing also works as a filter for Photoshop. So you can just do the round trip and just open as a filter, apply it on Photoshop. And if you use it on a smart object, you can even go back and change a little bit of what you've did. If we try, for an example, I'll just throw this out of focus image there, and it's going to open. And if you guys notice, the focus is, I don't know if you can see that. This is going to be quite a challenge. But the focus was a little bit more on the back. If you were to look, this part,
notice that is much sharper.
Yeah, I'm just going to drag this to the other side. So the focus was a little bit on the back.
Correct.
I don't know if it is possible at all to see the tiny hand moving there. But what you can do here, you can just go to the software and say that you want to, I mean, let's go back some steps. You can apply a mask and make it work on just a part of the image, but they have a whole other app just for masking. So I'm going to talk about masks a little later. This tiny thing, unless you have a very powerful computer, I would keep it off, because otherwise anything that you make, any adjustment that you make, it's going to process it again, and it takes a while depending on your image and on your computer. But it can just apply overall sharpness to images without any kind of ghosting or crazy artifacts. It can stabilize, that means if you had a camera shake on that, or it can fix focus, which is the focus of what I want to do now. So I'm just going to drag it over the eye part, and there is a line here because I'm now just with a split view. So I'm not putting the effect still so you guys can see it in the end. You can select a manual modus. In this one, you can just play with the sliders to your heart's content, and it makes a lot of a difference. But the auto does already a very nice job. So I'm just going to allow it to apply. And then I'm going to slide this one back. And I have no clue if you guys can see that. I might have to export 100% view for you guys, because it makes a lot of, it makes a huge difference on the fur. I don't know if you guys can see that.
Yeah.
The thing I noticed is that if I work on a low resolution image like a JPEG, sometimes I see some artifacts, but it makes a really, really good job of doing that. And this one is actually a JPEG. I have another example to show you guys. This one was a failed attempt to do one panning, and it didn't really go as well as planned. I mean, this is so old. I've grown so much better. I would never do that, imagine. So this one has a little bit of camera shake, and it has also some focus issues. And you can probably see that the whole face and this prehistoric eye something are really out of focus. But let's see if I can make it happen here, because I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm going to try to zoom a little bit more, but
That's impressive.
It's we can see it. Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
it makes quite a
Wow.
difference. I mean,
Yes.
it doesn't work in all situations, but it was enough for me to save one job that I had a serious issue with. And especially if you work on high resolution images, the results are more than good enough in my experience. And this was just with the auto settings. If you come to the manual settings and spend some time with the different ways it applies this fixing, it is really it can really save some images. So this is mostly stabilizing and focusing. Let me see if I have some other thing that we could do. This is, let me just close this one before. And you can save the images as DNGs or raw. This one is just, I didn't even do anything. It's already looking better. This is a focus issue. But this is the example in a low resolution. I'm going to try to increase it a little bit. And you guys will see some artifacts around the eyes because the resolution of the original image is not good. I mean, I have no clue if you guys can see that, but believe me, there's a lot of artifacting around the eyes and on the hair. It looks completely artificial. So it is not magic. It doesn't do miracles. But if you start with a very good resolution image, there's a big chance that you can really recover from it. And I mean, there isn't so much to show more. It's just more of the same and exercising between stabilizing and setting the focus right. But if you guys want to see any more examples of this Sharpen AI, that was is basically the same, going over more images. Of course, if you go for their website, and I have the link for you guys here, if you go for the website and you slide this thing left and right, you can see it. They have a specific images that were worked in a specific way to showcase what they do. So it's really amazing. But in real world experience, it really works very, very well. Mask AI, I have a love-hate relationship with it. Sometimes I love it. Sometimes I just throw it away and go with Photoshop and just select subject or use luminosity mask as Jan showed us, or color mask, or a mix of them both. But in some other instances, it works really well. And something that is cool about it is that if you don't want to remember how to go and with the luminosity mask, you're lazy to do that and just want to go there and click some buttons and have it done for you. So this might be a good option. I'm just going to share this other one with you guys now. So the idea between this one is masking, of course. So I'm just going to show you guys a little bit the interface. Just dropping an image in there and doing it easy. So this is a church in our trip to the Aurora Borealis, and it's it's an amazing place. And you can see on the interface here, you have the different views that you can see, and I'm going to explore them in a while. But here is the original image on the top right. You can see the original image. And here you have two options to automatically do something to your image. The first one, it detects subject, which is not the case here. Or you can, for an example, just detect the sky. And in my experience, it doesn't matter so much. It can do a very good job in detecting sky, also when there are some trees around. And it usually works very fast, but when you try to demo it, it doesn't go so good. I hope it doesn't crash, and it just did. Yay! So nobody goes for this one. This software doesn't really work. Let's try that again. And Topaz mask. And hopefully this thing is going better this time. So as I was saying, let's say this should automatically detect the sky if it doesn't break again. If it does, let's just skip this section altogether. Okay, so now it worked. And what it is showing to you guys here, it has this color codes. Green, it keeps. Blue, it uses the AI to compute a mask. And red, it is going to remove. And you can fine tune it. You can come here to the brush and you can fine tune it and add some areas to the computing. You can remove some areas if you don't want them to exist there. So for an example, I'm just going to increase the zoom a little bit so you guys can see it. So here, if you can see a tiny thing moving, it's my mouse. There's a part of a building that I don't want to be mixed with the sky. So I'm going to come here to the keep brush, which is this green one. And I'm just going there and I'm going to paint it green over this building. So I don't want it to compute. But I was really clumsy and I painted too much. So I'm just going to make sure that the border of what I want is blue, because this is what is telling the software that it needs to compute and create a mask with this. So I'm just coming here now, and I have two options now. I can use AI to try to understand what I want, or you can go like Photoshop and just use contrast, and it's trying to compare what is bright and what is dark and finding the contrast to detect the edges. So I'm going to compute the mask. If it doesn't crash, it should show us something soon enough. I mean, you guys are making the software lazy, because when I tried it, it was really, really fast. So what it did here, if you guys can see, it just shows us the sky removed, and you can fine tune it as you wish. You can come here and even use the color range that we've done. So you could add or remove areas based on color. And you can just come here and click and go there and try to make it a little different, that's the selection. So let's say that I don't want these pieces of the mountain here. So I can go on the mask and select the color that I don't want to have on the, if I go for the right one, the colors that you don't want to have. And it's going to eventually take it away from us. And you can play with the color range. I select the color. I think I'm too specific on the color here. So I want to add this part of the, and compute the mask again. So it's simple, easy, and you can, with this, you can do, if you guys see now, a 4-screen split. On the top left, you have the calculations and what you are telling the software to compute. On the top right, you have the mask as you would see in Photoshop. And you can export this as a mask and save it and use it in any software you want. And on the bottom, you see the two different pieces of the image as you separated it. So it is, especially when you have these crazy selections, if you have like crazy hair or some leaves that you want to separate from a background, this could be a very good option. And if you don't want to go to all the techie things that we've done, so if you guys want to see another example, we can
Would you have an example with a bit more detail, like something like trees, or like you mentioned hair, I think, something where that can be a bit more tricky, let's say?
I have some examples here. Let's see if we can do any of them. So this one is to show the auto detect subject, and it's probably going to have a couple of issues again. So as you can see, it cannot recognize that Olga's arms are to the side, but it's quite easy to solve this one. You can just put you can just select here on the brush on this panel to the right. You can select the compute.
Sure. Sorry for the interruption, but my computer decided to go crazy.
No worries, my friend. No worries. Good that you could solve it. And then I'm just going to come here and tell the software that I want it to compute this part that is now blue. And I'm also going to say that I don't want it to include or to compute these crazy blue areas around, that it's probably thinking it was a hair. Because if you can see, there are some strings of hair here, and there are some black paintings that are difficult to distinguish also for the naked eye. So I'm going to also do the same thing with the other arm. And just a second, I'm just going to paint her arm blue. And I'm going to check the hair here is not the most difficult, Remy, but let's see how it handles this strings of hair together with the graffiti, which is quite funny to separate, even with by looking into it. And then we could go and play a little bit with colors and everything, but let's see what it is going to do right now. I'm just going to compute the mask. As you can see, it did a less than great job on the arm, and we can try to make the selection a little better, and we can come and do some refinements. We can come here to the edge, and we can play a little bit with the hardness of the edge. That means you increase or decrease the feathering, which is going to include or exclude more of the background. You can play a little bit with the strength of the edge. This is how harsh is it going to be. Or you can just shift it a little bit towards to the inside of the image or to the outside, meaning to the arms, including more arms or excluding some more of them, and with the hair too. This is why I told you guys that I have a love-hate relationship with this. Sometimes it's amazing. Some other times I wish I just went into Photoshop and did some other selection.
It feels like it works better when it's like clear separation, like what you were showing just before with the sky, like sharp structures and stuff like this.
Yeah, perfect. Here, it could work really well, but you would have to come here and paint so much that it starts to not be so worth it for me. Mm-hmm. Something that I like is that sometimes when you have to cut something out, there is some color, I don't know, contamination from something that you're cutting out. And the software can take away some of this color. So if it was taking away a green screen, for an example, the green screen tends to put some green on whatever the skin or the clothing, depending on the lighting you do. And this one helps take that out. So this is a cool feature that in this case is not going to make any difference. But as you guys can see, it is not the most fantastic. But you could again export just the mask and use this mask as you wish. and you can come here and refine it a lot. But in this kind of image, I think it is not really so much worth it. I do have another example, Remy, that we can try together. Let me just reduce this a little bit and try to close this thing down. No, I don't want to save anything. I just want to close it, please. I'm trying to open another one, and I didn't actually try with this, so we can see the results together. And this is a challenging hair selection, maybe. But for some reason, I mean, my computer seems to be the issue now. So just a second, guys, I'm going to cut this. I think my computer is not happy to have so many things open, Zoom and everything together. Just a second. I'll have to drop this guy. Hey, Zoom is taking away all the power of the graphic card. So the usage of the graphic card is insane with Zoom. So it's not really helping the software. That's why we saw the speed difference also, because it's much faster than that in this computer. So just a second, let's go back to the masking software. And as soon as I can open it again, I will show it to you guys. And now it doesn't open. Good thing I'm not trying to sell anything to you guys, otherwise I'd be in deep. Let's see it again, if it opens now. Nope, no luck opening Topaz Mask anymore. I'm just trying with the processes here, but there's nothing I could close to make it open again. Yep, unfortunately, the only way seems to be restarting, which is not going to be good for Zoom. So let's try. And it is not going to work. So due to some technical difficulties, let's skip Topaz Mask for a little while, and let's see if we can do one that I really love. And this one is amazing. It's the DeNoise. This one I used in some of the photos for the Aurora, Remy. And the difference it does with the noise from the high ISO images is absolutely insane. So hopefully it will open. Yeah, it opened. And now hopefully it will not crash. Just about to share with you guys the DeNoise. And it's there. Just gonna throw one image there. Let's see what we have here. I'll start with this one here. So nothing really special, just so you guys can see how it works. So this is a very old image. It was taken with a D300, I think. With, I don't know, I was testing some crazy high ISO, like 16,000 or something. And it was one of the worst cases that I could find. And you guys can probably see that is a snowstorm. It's like a dust storm. You have all crazy color problems and purple fringing. There's everything. And what we are going to try to do with this software here is that you can see on the navigator on the top right is the original image. The big screen showing the image without the corrections, and there's again the same divider line, but I'm not still going to show it to you guys. You can use it in two different ways. There is the DeNoise AI, and this is the one that you can try to change a little bit the settings, or you can just go to the AI clear, which does everything automatically. And I have some very, very good results at sometimes. Sometimes it goes a little bit too much and things start to get a little bit plastic. But most of the times, this one does a very good job. I'm just going to select the auto for everything so we can see how it works, and afterwards we can refine it a little bit. So I'm going to drag the slider a little bit, and you guys can probably see a little difference already. And it still has a lot of color problems that you guys can, I don't know if you can see, but believe me, here where the hand is going, there are some weird fringing colors, and there's purple fringing all over. Here you have some greens, and I mean, the lens was also less than great. So it's really a mess. But now I'm going to the bottom right, and I'm going to use the color noise reduction, and I'm just going to be quite high on it. And now all the color problems that were here, I can't see them anymore. If you slide it, you can see that's probably quite a difference. I don't know how much can you guys see on the live from Zoom, but this one is probably really impressive, what it does and how much it can recover from garbage, because this was exactly that. It was garbage.
Did you try it with star photographs?
What? I couldn't understand you, sorry.
Did you try it with some maybe star photographs, maybe Milky Way photographs?
I don't have many of those. The closest I could get to that, I have some images I could find, and I don't think they're going to make any justice to the software or to star photography, because for starters, you can see that the timing was not correct. So it was not, it was open too long. So the stars are starting to leave trails. Mm-hmm. So you can see from the shapes that it was not exactly well done, but we can try to see what is going to happen and how it is going to do something for this image. And I mean, for the leaves, it does something, but it starts from a bad point. Mm-hmm. So the way that the stars were before, they just they don't recover because it was bad. But if you have any example and you want to send me, we can just run it here, or you can actually download the free trial and use it for 30 days and experiment with it. But I mean, for the background, it does quite a difference. And then if you work afterwards, the lighting and everything, it makes quite a big difference. There is another one that we could try here to see how it goes. Just a second. Removed it. I don't know if we have any stars on this one also, because it was not about stars. Let me see, how do I reduce this a little bit so you guys can see more of it? So yeah, also the stars are not really well done, but it is again a very crazy high ISO. And for me, the difference, I just wanted to make it smaller, but it doesn't go any smaller than this. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it doesn't go any smaller than this. But the difference you can see from the how grainy it is before the software and how smooth it is after it is really remarkable. We could try to go with the tweakable settings and see how we can do it, but we would need to start from a better starting point with the stars, so we could try to make them really correct. But this one's, you can also see that the stars are making some tracks, They're not good exposures for the stars. They were shooting for the aurora.
But this is not the same problem as shooting the moon. You need to shoot fast. You need to shoot fast because it's a moving object, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So otherwise you see the brightness, and that's it.
Exactly. There's even a rule that you have to calculate depending on your the aperture you're using, the focal length you're using. Sorry, the focal length you are using. There's a formula you need to calculate it. But this photo was about the aurora, not about the stars. So if I went for the stars, I wouldn't capture the aurora. And unfortunately I don't have anything for stars. So Jan, if you have any, and you want us to try it, I'd love to do it.
No.
I have some, but I need to search for it, so it's okay. But it's amazing results.
Also, there are cameras for
really
stars.
good results.
Also, there are cameras for that, like the 850, right, and things like that.
So what I'm wondering here is that you have like a halos around the stars, and I think this is not an issue of exposure time. I suppose it's an lens issue, isn't it? Just a suggestion, because it looks like like a halo around the point, but I don't know. I'm not a star shooting specialist.
So I will try to maximize the way you can see. So this one here, it is now it is untreated, and there is already a halo.
Yeah.
I have no clue what is the reason for that. And when you use the treatment for it, it makes the halo sharper. But it's still there.
See the granular. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. It's still there. And I absolutely don't understand anything about star photography. And I cannot tell anything about that. But if you guys want to explore it, or if any of you understand more about it, I would love to learn how to do this Milky Way things, photos.
I know one photographer. She could tell it about to us, but I don't know if we can ask at least.
Yeah. And this is the example of a drone shot for Nick with, I think it was ISO 1600 on a Phantom 4 or something like that, which you are not supposed to do. And it's shot on a JPEG. So you can see how it works on a very bad starting point. And different from the other one, I would say this is usable. So I don't know if you guys can see the boats on the lake. There is quite a difference, and I'm in the wrong mode.
Yeah, very different, very different. This one is noticeable, yeah.
So it's still usable, even if you start from a JPEG. I think it's quite a difference. And this is a very poor image. It is a low resolution. It's an old technology camera, but you can do so much. So if you see the city there, it looks a little bit, I don't know, melting. It looks plastic. But the things that are closer, you can really recover a lot with this one. Let me see if I have any other examples that I would have to show you guys here, but this is mostly what I use this software for, or these different applications for. The only one I didn't show you guys that from the ones I used, so I'm trying to go back to the presentation here, which is here. So from these applications, we saw Sharpen AI to remove camera shake and increase sharpness overall. We saw Mask AI until it quit on us. And we saw DeNoise, which is probably my favorite on this. And in the previous screen, we saw the three ones that I don't have and I don't really use them so much. But Topaz Studio, it is a whole suite to make crazy things on the images or just regular edits as in Lightroom, for an example, but simpler edits, not the same thing. If you guys want at some point, I could show you guys this one, but since it has so much to show, I don't know if the time we still have today would be enough for that. I think we'll extend a little bit more than expected. And unfortunately, I don't have anything to show you guys about the video enhancement. I'm really willing to try it, but I still didn't. And the results I saw are really amazing. Anything you guys would like to see from these applications from Topaz or ask?
Yeah.
So what these guys have, they do have some bundles. And if you guys can wait, it was December, exactly when I needed it. I was really lucky. They had like a 50% discount, 50. And that's why I bought one of them that I needed to work, so it was justified. But I'm not so sure if it is justifiable for everyone, because it's quite some money to invest that you would probably need to recover it. And when I bought, I have a 15% discount to share. So if anybody ever wants it, you can use that. But my idea, my suggestion would be, if you want it and are interested, go there and use a free trial and see if it works for you. But if you guys decide to buy it, this is a win-win. This is no sale thing, because I only get something if you guys buy it. But I'm being absolutely honest. The first slide, I don't use anything and I don't recommend it. And on the second slide, you guys saw the results, and it's not necessarily fantastic. But if you ever try to buy it, you get a 15% discount, and you help me pay for the Zoom subscription, and I get, I don't know, some cents if you guys buy from using this link. And they have these bundles, but the bundles cost even more. So it's like $150 or $250. And I mean, I don't know you guys, but I'm not throwing away $150 these days. And there's another software that Ed suggested to us, that we might look into that the next time or sometime in the future. So do you want to tell us about this studio simulator that you just tried?
Yes, and I will try to tell something about it. Actually, I had a demo about 1 week ago, and I was very impressed about this software. But with the software, you can simulate a studio. So if you are hiring a studio, then it's very important that you prepare yourself, your suits, because it's expensive to hire a studio. And most of us, or I speak for me, I'm not so familiar with to work in studios. So it's a very good thing if you could make a good preparation for the shooting. And with this kind of software, it's very easy to prepare your shooting in the studio. And another possibility is to use the software at home, and you can simulate a studio in your home. For instance, you can make pictures of your room and have it as a wallpaper. And what you can do is experiment with different settings. There are about 10 different models, from an old man like me, and you have a beautiful simulated women too. Everything you need. You can give them different poses. It's really impressive. And what you can do, you can experiment with the different light settings. You can switch on and switch off, and to see the effects, and you can change the position from all those kind of stuff. It's really amazing. As I saw, I bought this software after the demo, and I've made a simple photo shooting. I made a self-portrait from me, and I prepared it in my room, and it was nice. What's also very impressive, there's also a very good simulation of the camera. You can experiment with different lenses, and you can see also different effect it has on the focus. So you can change the aperture, and you see immediately if your light is still good, or if you have to change the ISO or change the time, the speed of your camera. Is really impressive. And if you like, I can show you next week the product.
That's what I was about to ask everyone. What do you guys think? We have two options that we can see in the near future, maybe next time. One is the studio simulator. How many of you would be interested in seeing how it works and seeing a demo of that?
I think I'd be interested.
The others are
Yeah,
muted.
Yeah, you guys, you need to be honest. If you guys don't want to see it, you have to tell. Otherwise,
yes,
we're
of
going to do
course.
it. Otherwise,
yes.
we are going to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're not so interested, Nick.
So let's.
I think I won't use it myself. I think,
no,
Yeah.
no.
but it's. I mean, it's always interesting to see new things. But I think for myself, it will be less useful. I think.
I
But I'm
share
happy
the
to
same
join in
opinion on
still.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I share the same opinion.
Can you just maybe share the name and?
I guess I
then I
will
can-
immediately give you the link, and then you can look for yourself in just a moment.
Probably, yeah.
No problem. That's I prepared it, so it should be no problem. That's
But,
also very good idea, Remy, to.
Yeah, what I
just-
think we could do anyways is, as Ed is sharing the link with us, we
So,
could
that's the
anyways
link.
go for and play with it a little bit. Maybe not make a 1 hour demo with it, because you can spend hours with that. But we could make it quite quickly and show it working in the next one. So I would still love to see your presentation on that one, Ed. So we could try to make it maybe make it a
Yes.
little bit short.
Yes, I can make a small demo of about 5 till 10 minutes. Yes, I can do that.
Yeah, and then we follow with if anybody wants to play a little bit more, they can go and play with the simulator at home. And
Yes.
the other question is this Topaz Studio, the one with that is used to create some different things on your images. Does it sound interesting to you guys? Do you guys want to see some more, or just put it aside and let's move on to other more interesting things?
I'm very interested in this kind of software. Yes.
So
It'll be interesting, yeah.
Okay.
That's really nice, yeah.
So what I would suggest is that we start it, and you guys tell me, let's go further and let's explore it more, or just raise your thumbs down, raise your hands with the thumbs down, and I know it is time to cut the Topaz out of the thing. So we could try to do them both next week.
Yes.
And see how it goes.
I'm not so very much interested in videos, but of course, if other people like it, that's good. But I'm always interested in such plugins for Photoshop and Lightroom. I like that. Yes.
Okay, and I mean video. We have a very tiny research or survey in the meetups, and video comes just after going to the dentist.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I don't think anybody except for me is really into video. And now maybe
Yes.
Nick with the drone, and we can make a separate group for that, Nick, because
Yes.
I think it's Nick, friends, and I, the only ones that are
Yes.
really interested on that.
Yes.
And so I think that is it. Let me try to go back to
I have
No,
to learn to fly first, you know that.
man, take your time because this is really, really important and saves a lot of money. Yeah. And don't forget the simulator because it really works really well. And something else that we had going, but I am about to suggest you guys that we just kill this idea, because it might look like we have some entries, but if we take away the ones I placed there just to make some movement and make the people think that people are participating, if we take those away, we have 3 or 4 people participating. By the way, thank you for the 1, 2, 3. I think all the photos were from people that are here in the chat. I know there's Antonio, there's Nick, there's Remy, and this is Nick, I think. Yeah. But it is quite clear for me 4 weeks afterwards that it is not exactly so interesting anymore. Is that correct? Is this assumption correct?
I actually still like it. But,
I
No way, yeah.
sorry.
I like the challenge. I didn't have much time recently, so I think actually it's always nice to see pictures of others and how they look at things. But yeah, there were not so many posting images, and I also only posted one. So.
Okay,
It's
Antonio.
it's a little bit difficult to understand you, but I think your mic is not working very well. But it's okay, Nick.
So yeah, so actually, all the challenges. I think
We can't hear you very well. You're breaking. You're breaking.
I was
as well.
reading his lips, and he was saying that he actually likes this kind of challenges and ideas, and
Yes.
he didn't have so much time to post. Yeah, I was reading your lips. Yeah, I could get most of it. Yeah, and then Antonio was about to say something.
I was saying that yes, I like it, but I don't mind if we move on to something else. Okay.
Yeah, so what we could do anyways, maybe we could switch a little bit the mode. Maybe we could join two ideas that we've done. One is we would go there and speak about the photos. Maybe not exactly a photo critique, but we could keep on coming with ideas, and then we submit photos for 2 or 3 weeks, and how long we think we should. And then in the end, we just get these images, 1 image or 10 images, and we try to go there and discuss something about them, what we like, what we didn't like, why is it that the person submitted it for the challenge. We could try to make the 2 things together, and maybe even though if we have this 1 or 2 images, it is already nice to go there and discuss the photos. What do you guys think? Would you be open to having your photo not exactly critiqued
yes, for me,
per
fine.
se?
Yeah, talked
That's a good
about
idea.
basically.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
that's fine.
Perfect. So let's make it for the next one. I will keep the same concept. The concepts were free and colors, and we get the images, and then we discuss them in the next one. And I am going to take away all the garbage that I just put there to make volume. And so these are still valid. Then we have free and colors, whatever you understand from it, together, separate, just one, both of them. I don't really care, just post whatever. And we discuss them next Tuesday. So from what I got, we have the Photowalk coming. We don't have anything else for edit my photo, and I think it was so fun. So many of us got a blast out of it. I would love to have more of that. So if you guys want to submit any photos so we can destroy your creation, I think that it is quite funny. If not, I'm just going to send you guys like 2 or 3 photos, and let's see if anybody comes with any edits for that. Ed is going to come with the studio simulator, and I'm going to bring the Topaz Labs Studio, whatever the name it is. And if you guys have anything else that you would like to see next time, that you would not like to see next time, say it now, shoot me a message afterwards. This is supposed to be our space.
I'd be interested in something, but I don't know if people are as well. It's more like about, it's a physical thing as opposed to software and everything. It's more about papers and so on that are good to be used in photography, like when you want to do some prints and stuff like that. I'm still struggling a bit with what paper to choose for what situation, or because there are like so many, like that are, you have glossy, you have I forgot how do you say this in English, but
Matte.
like satin, matte, yeah, exactly. And those kind of papers, and I don't know if people are interested as well. I don't know if you guys print your pictures sometimes, but I tend to do it from time to time, and then that's something I'm still struggling a bit with, like what exactly to choose in that situation.
I'm also very interested in printing, so yes, it will be interest not only the paper but also the kind of different printers you have. Yes.
I think for this one, we would need to try to have a specific meeting, because not only the topic is huge,
Yes,
but I would guess that there is the dentist, there's video, and there's printing.
To be honest, I can be very honest on this. I don't print any photos, and I don't intend to. But yeah, so for me, it's not really. But yeah, people might be interested. Cesar, you are right. There is video and there is printing.
Yeah. So I am totally into that. I print usually with the supplier that, or I have 2 or 3 suppliers that I use, and I sell some prints. But I never really explored it so in depth as I would like to, Remy. So I would absolutely love to do that. And this is probably something that we should consider doing in person, because it is absolutely impossible to judge the paper and the result.
Yes.
So I think this is a subject that we should start in a small meeting. Maybe we can just post the idea and see who joins, and discuss some of the concepts, and then we can even try to go and visit some of these printing labs and see what they suggest, what they say about the paper. There is one that I use just for very top level prints. They actually do they don't actually print it. They use this developing chemicals on photo paper. And those guys, they know a lot about printing, and they are really open. We could try to go there and see what they do. And they have some insanely gorgeous prints on the walls there. They are really, really to die for. So if you guys, whoever wants, we can try to do a separate meeting and try to go that way. I love the idea, Remy. I would really like to do that.
Yes, very good.
So let me.
I like printing. So that's very, very interesting. And I agree that you have to feel and see the print. It doesn't come across on the screen, but still to start off the idea, yeah, sure. But I agree, it's not for everyone. And yeah, there's so many levels.
Yeah. But then what we could do, what I think it would be amazing, is that we are slowly coming back to life, and from the middle of June, there should be a new set of releases that we are going to receive, and then not new liberties that we will have again, and then we could try to make this in person.
Yes.
We can just meet somewhere, grab some coffee, discuss some papers, take some examples with us, and then arrange the next one in some of these printing labs. I think this could be really nice.
Yes, very nice. Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's just hold this one a little. I will try to write people with the next messages on the meetups that nobody sees anyways, because it goes for the spam folders. But I will try to write and see if we can get somebody else on board with us in this. But thanks for the suggestion. I do love it, Remy.
Yes.
Anything else that you guys would like to have or share or discuss together?
And just a question for the Photowalk. Is it do you expect some kind of street photography, or do I need a tripod or something like that?
I would say that I expect that whoever comes to be happy and do whatever he or she wants to do with the photos. So if you're thinking about street photography and the tripod, I would definitely say you can do some. I guess at 9, it's still there's still enough light to do most of the things without the tripod.
Yeah.
But maybe we can try to do some funny things and play with long exposures, and I mean, I'm absolutely open to have fun with it. So I will definitely take one small tripod, and we can play with it. I'm not going to take any light modifiers or flashes or strobes or whatever.
I think blue hour starts 10:30. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really too bright still.
Okay. And I was thinking, as we talked about astrophotography, because I know one person, she's an astrophotographer, and she's really a pro in it. And I could ask her if he can tell us whatever about this, but I'm not sure if it's interesting for you, and I'm not sure if it's interesting for her.
I didn't understand what it be?
I know one person, one girl. She's really professional in astrophotography. It's her specialty. And as you said, that you would be happy to know more about it, how that works. I thought that maybe she can make a small presentation.
I would be interested. I am imagining this is also limited, but my guess is this group that has been meeting is really eager to know more and to see some more. So unless we go for 4 hours of astrophotography, people would probably get out of it. But if we go for something a little bit smaller, and I would guess most of us would like to learn a little bit of it.
Yeah,
what do you guys
maybe
think?
something about 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I don't know.
What do you guys think? Let's make this a very tiny survey.
Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, so yeah, that's great. Let's try to see if she agrees to share a little bit with us.
Yeah, because it's quite an unknown subject, so it's something that not many people really knows about. So.
Okay, I will ask her, and I will let you know then.
Hey, that's great. Yeah, there's something going on over dinner with Daniel.
Guys, I will have to leave.
Yeah, we're just finishing
See
here.
you on Thursday.
Yeah, see you then, Nick. Looking forward to that.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, Issa.
Thank you, man. Really happy. I think Daniel doesn't want that Nick goes away.
Hey, I just heard my name.
Yeah, because I don't know, Nick was just saying goodbye, and then we heard no from you.
Oh, was it me?
Well, your screen got the little halo on it, so I guess it was.
Okay. So the
Maybe
mic was not
yeah.
on mute. So.
Maybe not. Okay. But then again, guys, that's what we had for this one. Thank you, as always, for participating and sharing.
Thank you very much.
Next week, we have another one with already quite some content. If you guys stumble upon any kind of knowledge of tips, Photoshop tips, this is something that I would love at some point if we shared tips that we have for editing in Photoshop, Lightroom, or whatever, because every one of us knows a shortcut or an easier way to do something. And I mean, this could be really nice to have. So if you guys have anything on that, just shoot me a message and we can share them with the group. Thank you all. I wish you guys a great evening, and I hope to see you all, or as many of you as we can, on Thursday.
Okay.
Good evening. Yes, Thursday. Bye-bye.